Hello everyone, welcome to Writing Quest. My name is Brendan Pugh. In today's episode, we're going to break down the Dan Harmon Story Circle, what it is, and how to use it. Huzzah! Alright, the Dan Harmon Story Circle was created by Dan Harmon. He's written for such things such as Community, Rick and Morty, a bunch of stuff. He's pretty prolific as far as those types of TV, movie things are concerned. And so he created this story structure as kind of how he outlines stories and how he thinks about stories. The Dan Harmon Story Circle has 8 parts. We're going to go through each one and what they are and how to use them. Number 1, the character is in the zone of comfort. So this is where the story begins, where nothing's really happened to your character yet. They're just kind of living their life, and most stories start out this way, especially with fantasy. It's the farm kid on the kind of homestead, just doing whatever he does, living his life in the small little village. So this is the part where you kind of introduce your character, introduce the characters around your character, and really start just exploring the world that they're in, who they are and what they do, their life, all of those kinds of things. But the most important thing is that they're mostly comfortable. This is their normal life. Nothing is new or exciting or interesting. It's just how they live and who they are. Number 2, but they want something. This is where the desire for adventure begins. Something happens, or they want something that's external to them. There's an internal desire that they want. There's something in their psyche, external circumstances that drives them to want something. So whether that's, something happens where they need to go find revenge and fight off the bad guy or save someone, or whether it's just they got a job, made some money, and now they want to go buy a certain thing. This is where they want something. There's something they want to achieve, and so the zone of comfort, they're still in the zone of comfort at this point, but they also want something, and it starts to shake them out of that comfort zone. Number 3, because they wanted something, they've now entered into an unfamiliar situation. So this kind of kicked off the story. You can kind of think of the they want something part to be kind of like the inciting incident. And now that that's happened, they enter into a new reality. So they've left their zone of comfort and where they came from, and now they're entering into where they are desiring something so that it's actually changed their circumstance, but now they're in a situation that is unfamiliar to them, and it's uncomfortable and it's weird, and they're not really sure what to do. Number 4, they adapt to the new situation. So they've been pushed out of their comfort zone by whatever they wanted, and whether that was good or bad for them, they now have to adapt to what's going on. Their circumstances changed, and so now they have to learn a new skill, meet new people, go somewhere else. Something happens. They have to adapt to their surroundings so that those surroundings become the new normal. Number 5, they finally get what they wanted. So they wanted something before, it pushed them into a new circumstance. They finally adapted to it. They started figuring out, they created a plan, whatever it may be, and then they actually get what they want. So it's kind of like they feel like they won, the victory is at hand. It's kind of like a it's the supposed victory from the Act 3X story structure. It's a supposed victory where they think they've won, they think the story's over because they actually got what they wanted. But number 6 happens, and they pay a heavy price for the thing that they wanted. So they wanted it, they got pushed into the uncomfortable zone where they don't really know what's going on. They adapted, they figured it out, they got smarter, they got what they wanted, but now they have to pay a heavy price for it. Maybe someone dies, maybe they lose something of value. Something happens that is a heavy price for the thing that they wanted and ultimately got, which then forces them to have to change their plan. Number 7, the heavy price has been paid. They've won the final battle and they've won everything, and now they return to the familiar situation. So they go back home. They think of like in Lord of the Rings, where they go through this whole entire journey, and Frodo pays a heavy price by carrying the ring all the way to Mordor. He throws it in the fire, and all of that stuff happens. He's paid a heavy price, and now he returns home to the familiar situation that he started at. And then number 8, they have changed. So they've returned home to the familiar situation, but they're changed. They're a different person because of the heavy price they had to pay and the thing that they achieved. This is the part where they return to normal in a sense, but then they don't feel normal. They're different. They're a changed person. It's, Frodo ended up going into the Grey Havens and disappearing. And so he left this land for good because he went home and it wasn't the same. But then you have Bilbo Baggins, who came home, and he stayed for a very long time, but he was still a changed person. He had gone through this big adventure. He'd paid this heavy price, and then he finally came home, but he was a totally different person. And that's the character arc, or the character change, that ultimately makes your character feel like it's had a satisfying journey in your story. Those are the 8 steps to the Dan Harmon Story Circle. I hope this video was helpful to you. Let me know down in the comments below if you've used this, or if you want to use it, or you've thought about using it. Anything you want to talk about, I'd love to talk to you about it down there. Make sure to like and share, subscribe to the channel, all of those things. If you're new here, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time on Writing Quest. Huzzah!